Yeah, I think the biggest thing, for us, from last week to this week was staying together as a team. I think it's something that we all, as a staff and as a team, talked about. It's obviously something that we need to go through, not something that we can go around and avoid. And I think it was important for us to be there for each other. And then obviously, having the opportunity to go down, earlier this week to be there for Mark's family and for the funeral and everything, and to do that together as a team. So it's really been hard on everybody. I think everybody is going through it individually, but we're also going through it as a team. And last week was there was some tough days in there where we spent some time off the field together. But I think important days that will lead to better days ahead. It was good to have the off weekend with no game and allow guys to go home and spend time with their families and their loved ones. And then it was good to get back on Monday and get back on the field and try to get back to some normalcy, and get back more into everybody's comfort zone. So I think it's been a really good week of practice. I think the guys are happy to be back out there, and while not forgetting anything that's happened, but trying to be stronger and more together, because of everything. So it's definitely been good to kind of return to some normalcy this week. There's no manual or anything that tells you how to do this and how to go through this, and nor should there be, because everybody is going to handle it individually, myself included. I think the challenge for us was to understand and to be sensitive to everybody's individual emotions, but obviously try to make sure it still stayed within the direction of the team and where we need to move towards to be in a better place. I think, I definitely feel like the family ties that we have within our program and the culture of our community is stronger now more than ever. And not that it wasn't strong before, but I think in times like this it becomes revealed, and it's definitely more at the forefront. We spent a lot of time talking as a team and letting our emotions out, and I think when you hear somebody go to a place of discomfort and go to a place where they typically aren't expressing those type of emotions, I think it's easier to feel more connected to your teammate or to your coach or to your coworker, because you can relate and you're right there with them. So I think it's been a lot of that, especially last week. So I think guys are definitely just as tight as they've ever been. And if anything, we were able to express those emotions a little bit more in the last 2 weeks than we've ever have. It's been unbelievable to have the amount of people that have reached out to myself, to our assistant coaches, whether it's inside the NE10 or just local, New England, other teams, other sports within the NE10, other people that have gone through similar situations, whether it's people from on campus or off campus. That's been amazing, and I think our players obviously really appreciate, as do we as coaches, the support that we've received internally. Father John Denning being there every day, with us and traveling down there with us, Pauline Dabrowski, Dean O'Keefe, and a lot of the stuff that had to go on behind the scenes to allow us to cope and grieve in our way and travel down there. Between Steve Fitzgerald and a lot of the stuff that he had to do behind the scenes to assist with us. And that's just to name a few. I mean, there was a ton of support from on and off campus, and it's really humbling to know that you're in people's thoughts and prayers. In your time of need. We did a little bit of both this week. We tried to do a little more internal stuff that we would get to do, focusing on us in a typical bye week. So we primarily came right back in and tried to focus ourselves on Merrimack, as well as doing some offensive versus defensive periods that we would typically get to do in a bye week, and try to get some of the younger guys some reps and develop them and see where they are at this point in the season, because we would get to spend a couple days almost like camp and not have to worry about scout teams or anything like that. So we did get a chance to do a little of that more on Wednesday. That was a big focus on Wednesday. And I think, the biggest thing for us is just trying to make sure that we're focused. I think when you have a layoff, whether you had bye week practices or not with no game, you're worried about, some of the details and some of the mental errors. And so we've really been kind of harping on that and making sure that procedurally, mentally, we're in a really good place in terms of what we need to do to execute. I think we've had some really good practices this week. The energy has been good. I think the tempo and the execution have gotten increasingly better as the week has gone on. I think the guys are ready to get out there and play. I know that I am. I know that our coaches are, and I think they're ready to get out there and to let it loose and have fun playing the game that they love and that we love. Merrimack's, they played a tough schedule to this point. They played Bloomsburg out of conference, who we were very familiar with over the last couple seasons, playing them out of conference, and they've played, 3 of the top teams in our league in some tough matchups. So they're definitely tested. They've played, some of the better teams in our league to this point in the season. They have a young quarterback who's played, very well the first half of the season in his limited time there on campus. And they're very talented in the skill positions on both sides of the ball. They really challenge you on defense. They play a lot of man coverage, and they get their hands on people, and they try to suffocate you. And they do a really good job of that. They're definitely dual purpose on offense. They look to run the ball. They've got a couple talented running backs as well as the quarterback. But they're also going to try to challenge you and put their athletes in space. They'll have a lot of passing tags called to their run game that allows them to kind of read on the fly and stress you. If you're going to commit more to the run, they'll throw the ball out to the perimeter and vice versa. So they definitely make sure that you're balanced and you honor everything with their offense. The keys for us Saturday are really simple. We have to be disciplined in everything that we do in all 3 sides of the ball. We have to be smart. We can't have mental errors. And we have to be gritty on Saturday. It's going to be a game that we're going to have to grind out at times and just stay true to who we are in our game plan. It's not so much worried about what they're doing. We have to be disciplined, intellectual, and gritty.